And Peter, you mentioned that there are different types of meditation. So, is there a meditation for everyone? Like for certain people, the more deeper, slower, more austere type of meditations might be a bit too much for them to commit to. Is there a better alternative for people who feel like they are more wired, so to speak?
Yes. I mean, I wouldn't say it depends what you're looking for. I think that's different types of meditation have different purposes, different goals in mind. Some might, as I said, be wanting to develop concentration or other spiritual skills, or whatever.
Hmm.
And that's fine if that's your leading. But what I'm interested in is how to let the mind relax, how to let the mind become quieter, which I think
Okay.
is something that many people would like to have. And what I'm sharing in the book is not a particular technique so much. It's like tips and refinements and various skills that you could apply to various practices where
Okay.
a settling down of the mind is important.
So a way
So
of being, essentially.
yes, yes. Well, it's coming to a quieter way of being. And I sometimes, rather than use the word meditation, I talk about just sitting quietly with yourself. Can you just sit quietly with yourself? Would you like to just sit quietly with yourself? Oh yes. When you try to do it or come to do it, you find actually sitting quietly with yourself isn't quite as easy as you thought because
Hmm.
thoughts are coming in and other distractions. But that's meditation. Even the word meditation has all this sort of baggage connected to it. And I find just sitting quietly with yourself is a more neutral way of putting it.
What is the number one thing that people struggle with the most when they first start meditating?
Thoughts coming in. I hear that again and again. I can't
Mm,
stop thoughts coming in. That's
mm,
that's the number one thing because as we said earlier, we have this expectation that we shouldn't have thoughts. It's about the mind becoming still. So that's the number one thing. And so what I suggest to people is first, as we were saying, just to accept it, accept that thoughts will come in, and then when you're meditating and you notice you've gone off on a thought, whatever it is, doesn't matter. You've gone off on some thought. You're no longer just being present. Then, as you said, rather than feeling you've gone wrong or anything, we can actually choose not to follow that thought any further. We don't have much choice at all over what thoughts come in or when they come in. But once we've noticed the thoughts there, we can actually choose almost to not be interested in anymore. If it's really important, we say, okay, I'll look at you later. But in the meditation, it's just a choice like, I'm not going to be interested in you anymore. I'm just going to withdraw my attention from you, not follow you. And when you do that, you'll notice you gently automatically return to the present moment because nearly all our thoughts about the past or the future or taking our attention somewhere else,
mhm.
when you are not following that thought anymore, then you just notice what the thought was veiling or what it was obscuring it. And instead of the thought, it's just, oh, yes, oh, there's the sound of the refrigerator again, or whatever it is, or there's that, feeling in my body. So that's the way I teach people to deal with thoughts, not as a battle or anything, but just saying, okay, thank you, but just choosing. It's quite a powerful choice we have not to follow that thought anymore.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is that be the observer of your thoughts
Yes.
rather than
No,
be taken over by them.
yeah. Well, the first thing is rather than we tend to identify with the thought. This thought is very important. Most of our thoughts are often about me in some way or another, or what
Mhm.
I would like to see happen in the world. So they sort of take us over. So, but it's not just it's when you notice them, you're an observer, but not staying as an observer. I mean, as soon as you notice you've been thinking, you're already present again. As soon as you observe the fact you've been thinking, you're back in the present moment. Ah, I've been thinking. And then you just want to stay in the present moment. And you do that by just not following the thought anymore. So your thoughts, yeah, basically it on that. Yeah.
How do we know that we're not overanalyzing? Because that could create some angst,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. It's yes, when you have a thought, it's not getting into the thought, it's just letting the thought go. You could be the thought could be analyzing, but you don't want to be analyzing the meditation at all. It's just like it's just coming back. Ah, it's here I am. Here's the present moment. Just letting the mind relax into the present moment. If you're analyzing anything, that's just another thought. And so it's an analyzing thought going on. Just think, okay, I'm not going to follow you anymore. I don't need to analyze you right now. Analyze the
Mhm.
meditation, because those sorts of thoughts can be the most pernicious thoughts. The
Right.
ones that you look at, say, how am I doing? Am I doing it right?
Yeah,
Is this
especially if
an
you're a perfectionist, if you're someone who's
yeah,
driven, a lot of my listeners have that kind of temperament. They tend to be very thoughtful and they want to do great things in their lives. So I think that that may spill over into their practice.
yes. And we take those thoughts seriously. Thoughts about the meditation, we take seriously. Thoughts about a shopping list or something we need to do. Oh, that's just another thought. But thoughts about meditation, how am I doing? Am I doing it right? Those sorts of thoughts. Yeah, we take them more seriously and get caught up in them more easily.
Mm,
So any sort of analysis of what's going on is just really taking you out of the present moment again, just being quietly present. So it's recognize it and just treat it as another thought. Okay, I won't be interested in you for now. And when you do that, again, you just come back and notice with all of this, the mind gradually begins to settle down because you're not feeding it with
mm.
more things to think about.
Are there any habits or lifestyle choices that could make our life more conducive to a meditative way of being?
Yes, I think things like looking at where there's a stress in our lives that may not be that maybe we can deal with in various ways, whatever it is. Some stresses, are there inevitably, but finding ways to actually allow our life to be a little gentler, I think is really important because that's the attitude we're having in meditation is just, being gentle with ourselves. So, and also I think valuing meditation is really important. Just again, as we start practicing, you
Mm,
start realizing the value it has. And so that becomes a shift in how you see life. You see it's not just about doing, but it's also about the value of stopping doing. And in a way, that's what meditation is just not doing for a while, stopping doing. So, yeah. And I think just, looking after ourselves. I mean, I know, and this is just personally, exercise is so good.
mm,
And when I've been exercising, my mind all after it. I mean, sometimes when I'm doing intense exercises, it's I'm there, and but afterwards, when I stop and relax, it's like I just notice my mind is a lot easier, a lot quieter, and
yeah,
so that can be something which leads us in that sort of meditative direction.
yeah. In fact, you say that meditation does not have to be confined to a specific, like to a formal practice. It can be woven into everyday moments.
Yeah.
So I guess exercise is one of the ways that we can do that. Are there any other ways that people can begin to experience this in the middle of a busy day in their
Yeah,
life?
yes, several ways. First of all, what what you're learning in meditation, in this sort of meditation, you're learning how to recognize when you got caught up in a thought and let it go. And that can be so useful in everyday life. You're
Hmm.
doing something and something happens and you find your mind is off thinking about something, caught up in a thought. You
Yeah,
just begin to recognize, there's the thought again, whatever it is, and this is how I, can let it go, can step out of it. So you're learning a skill to allow you to sort of come back to an easier mode in the middle of whatever's happening in the day, just when you notice you're being distracted, caught up in a thought that's not really appropriate for whatever's happening. And then I also recommend what I call mini meditations and
Okay.
micro meditations.
Hmm.
Mini meditations are things you can do anytime you've got nothing to do for a couple of minutes. You know, you may be stuck in a traffic jam or on the phone on hold waiting for something, or
Hmm.
even waiting for the kettle to boil, whatever it is. You've got nothing
Having
to
a
do
shower.
for having a shower. Well, that's a little bit you're showering, but yes, you've got nothing particular to do. And then you can
Right.
just stop and take a few breaths. I always suggest to people when they start the very first, minute or so of meditation, just take a few deeper breaths, and just like that sighing just allows the body to begin to relax. And so you can just first of all do that. Suppose take the example of being stuck in a traffic jam.
Yeah.
You can just go, yes, okay, and just feel yourself relaxing and just noticing what's going on in the mind. So you're having a very short, that's why I call it a mini meditation. And that
Mm.
can be so valuable, as well as having your whatever 15, 20 minutes of regular meditation. Just lots of 2-minute meditations will keep on bringing you back and making that state of mind just a more natural thing that you can access more easily. And then I have what I call micro meditations, which are much shorter indeed. Micro meditations are things you can do any time of the day just for 10 seconds. And it's really just pausing. I use the word pause for that. It's just pausing whatever you're doing and noticing what's happening. And noticing what's happening in the body. Or here, I can feel this tension here, or my breath's tight, or what's happening in the mind. I'm off thinking about that.
Mm.
And as you do that, again, it's just an instant way of just going, yes, okay, here I am. And you can do that many times. I particularly recommend doing it between any two tasks. Like, I may finish talking with you, and then the next thing on my list might be to actually look at some emails. But before doing that, just go, okay, here I am, check into where I am, and then get on with the next task. Or it could be, you mentioned showering. You could come out of the shower, dry yourself off, and then just take a few seconds, 10 seconds to, okay, here I am. So it's taking lots of little times just to come back to that relaxed, quieter state of mind. That is really, for me, what is meditation is taking us towards.
Mm. I
I
love
actually
that.
have no,
Yeah.
like I say, I have notices pinned around the house saying pause, so that to remind me
Oh,
when I come across them, ah, just pause.
just
Uh,
reminders
just
that,
remind us to just
yeah,
stop, just for 10 seconds, just go, okay, here I am.
I love that.
Yeah.